Hello guys. I'm back, and this time I have a heavy armor, kind of tanky Magicka Warden for you. I played this build the last couple of days, and I gotta say, it was a lot of fun. I didn't expect the build to be as good as it was. I wanted to do this build for a long time and never had the sets. I finally got around to farming the sets, and so I finally could do it. And I had a blast playing this build. It felt really good. It's kind of a weird build, and I will show you why it's so weird, but honestly, it just works, and I think it's one of the better tank builds that I've played. So yeah, let's jump right into it. As you can see, we're sitting at almost 37k Magicka. That's quite a lot of Magicka, especially for a build like this. I was kind of surprised I could get it that high, and yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with the values that we got here. 27k health, also pretty tanky, a lot of health. This goes up even further when we heal because we get the minor toughness, which is 10% extra on the health, so we get up to like 30k ish. So that's pretty nice. And of course, 14k stamina. That's a pretty solid value for PvP. We don't really need much stamina on this build because we're really tanky, and most of it is blocking on the ice staff, which costs magicka, breaking free from CCs, which costs stamina, and the occasional dodge roll. But overall, I never really had sustain issues with my stamina. It always felt pretty decent, so yeah, I think that's a decent value here. Looking at the resists, not very high. 1200 magicka. Yeah, this build definitely has more sustain than you can see right now. When we use a pot, we go up by like 200, 250-ish Magicka recovery. Then we have our Blue Betty, of course, which also gives us around 200 regen, and then of course we are wearing heavy armor, so that also gives us a lot of sustain. So in the end, we have a decent amount of sustain, and it worked pretty well. So at the beginning, I had some sustain issues because I didn't know how to play this build, but in the end, um, I had it down, and I didn't really have sustain issues anymore. The health recovery coming in at 1250. This goes up to 2.5k roughly, because we are actually running a little bit of health recovery on this build, and the way we get the health recovery is kind of there's a trick to it, and I will show you how it works in a minute. So let's move on to the other stats. Our spell damage goes up to somewhere above to 3k. I would say 3.5k fully buffed, which is not bad. Spell critical is sitting at 40%, which is also nice for a heavy armor build. 40% is pretty decent, I gotta say. Our resistances, they go up to like 24k when we're fully buffed. So, quite a nice bulky build. The crit resistance, of course, 2.5k as we always run. So pretty nice stats all around. Not crazy tanky, but I mean, if you played right, you're pretty tanky. Our Mundus this time is the Steed because, of course, we went for some health recovery, and the little bit of extra speed is quite nice. I felt like even though it's only 10%, it really helped me. Just being a little more mobile, um, having a little more spring. I could just maneuver around a lot easier. So it really felt good just having the 10% extra speed. Um, for our food buff, we're using the Clockwork Citrus Fillet. Um, Great food, not really on the cheap side of things. It costs a pretty penny, but max health, the health recovery, max magicka, and the magicka recovery. That is such a nice food, and we really need it on this build because usually I would go for a Witch Mother's Potent Brew, but that one doesn't have the health recovery, and we really need this on a build like that. Um, we are not a vampire. Believe it or not, this build is not a vampire build because, of course, the health recovery. So yeah, I had to give it up. It was kind of sad, but it works better that way. So trust me, no vamp on this build. Let's move on to the sets. We are running, and now comes the set combo, the set synergy. We are running, our main set is the Permafrost set. Um, Pretty decent stats, the health, the Magicka, and the Magicka recovery. We can't go wrong with that. And then, of course, when you have a damage shield on you, you gain 885 health recovery. Really nice, a big chunk of health recovery. Um, just a flat value, pretty nice. And of course, it's a heavy armor set, so you get the bulk that just comes with a heavy armor set. Um, the second set we use is the Combat Physician. This set is why did I choose this set? It's pretty simple. When you critically heal yourself or an ally, um, you gain a damage shield. In PvP, this damage shield goes up to, as you can see, 4.8k. It's pretty decent for a damage shield in PvP. So, of course, when you heal yourself and you crit, this set will proc. It will give you a damage shield. When the damage shield is up, you will get the health recovery. So you get a free shield just for healing yourself. And just for healing yourself and getting the free shield, you get the free health recovery. Makes sense. Okay, the next set we're using is Ice Heart. Ice Heart functions similarly. When I deal critical damage, so if I go offensive on someone, I can gain a 5k damage shield as well, which is also pretty decent. So these two shields combined, 10k, pretty good, pretty good. They can proc at the same time, basically, when you're like fighting, healing, dealing damage. Both of these sets can proc every 6 seconds, and you can basically get a 10k shield for free. And when either of these shields are up, or both at the same time, you get the nice health recovery. So that's the set synergy on this build. 2 free sets and one nice chunk of free health recovery um, when the shields are up. So yeah, pretty nice. Of course, infused on the big pieces with the Triset enchants, Impan on the small pieces with the Magicka enchants. As always, nothing fancy here. Arcane jewelry, spell damage. You could do one extra um, Magicka regen if you want. That really helps. So it's up to you. I on the live server I ran an extra Magicka recovery glyph that really brought the build together. So, but feel it out. Add as much recovery as you like. If you don't want to go offensive on this build, you can really drop the spell damage and just go full recovery. If you do want to play this solo or in a small scale environment and you want to do some damage, I recommend going for lower recovery and a little higher spell damage. But it's up to you. Do whatever you feel suits your playstyle the best. Um, our weapons, we have the ice staff on the back bar infused with the weapon damage enchant. Of course, we get the nice big damage boost from light attacking someone, and the frost staff is just nice on the back bar because the back bar is our defensive bar. So when we're casting our buffs, when we're tanking people out, we're on our back bar, and we get the nice strong ice staff block. So really nice. You can't go wrong with that. And on the front bar, we have the lightning staff and Nirnhound, just to get extra damage going. You know, we have the shock enchant just to get the minor vulnerability going. And the lightning staff itself is just nice because you have a nice channel. You can put a nice amount of pressure on people when you put the 2 dots that we have on this build on your target, and then you channel the heavy attack. So that does quite a lot of damage. It prevents people from stealthing away, which is pretty nice, and you get Magicka back for channeling the heavy attack. So all around, just a nice a nice staff for the playstyle that we have here. I really like it. So yeah, that's the sets. Let's move on to the skills. On our front bar, the first skill is Deep Fissure. This, of course, is our bread and butter burst damage skill that we have. It doesn't deal a whole lot of damage on a build like this, but I mean, 14k is still nice. And I hit on the live server, I hit up to 7 or 8k fissures sometimes on people, so that's pretty decent. And of course, you debuff your opponent, you give him the major breach, which um, reduces their spell resistance. So you basically get more penetration, and everyone else attacking them also gets more penetration, which is pretty nice. On the live server, I actually didn't go with the Nirnhone staff. I went with a sharpened staff, and that's a viable option because then you get up to 15k penetration. That's decent. That's really decent. So the next skill is the Fetcher Infection. This is our main damage over time skill. You just put it on people. You can put it on multiple people. You just let it tick. Um, it doesn't do much more than that. Of course, you can cast it multiple times. Every second cast will deal 50% more damage. So that's quite a lot of damage you can get out of the skill just as a nice, damage over time. It just adds a little extra pressure on your target. So that's really nice. The next skill is Shock Reach. This is our main stun on this build. It also adds a little dot, deals shock damage, so you can basically proc the minor vulnerability with this. So we have three ways of getting that. We have the shock reach, we have the heavy channels, and we have the shock enchant. So you should have a decent uptime on your minor vulnerability. So yeah, but nice skill, high range, little upfront damage, then a nice dot, and of course the stun. Really nice. You can't go wrong with that. And you stack it with the Fetcher Infection, of course, for the extra dot pressure. The next skill we have is Bird of Prey. This is mainly our minor berserk source. You just have it on your front bar. You don't have to cast it if you don't want to. I cast it quite a lot because I like the extra speed. For 6 seconds, major expedition, really nice. Like I said, we are using the Steed Mundus, so we get the 10% extra. So it feels kind of nice to have the extra speed, especially on like a bulky, tanky build like this. Um, Makes the build just feel more alive. You don't feel like you're, you know, restricted in your movement. You can move around a lot. It's pretty easy. So great skill. I like it a lot. And the next skill we have is Inner Light. This is mainly for the Major Prophecy buff that gives us 10% extra spell critical, and of course the Max Magicka, just to push the damage even further on this build, because it's a tank build, so getting a little extra is always nice. And this allows us to push our spell critical to over 40%, which is a big deal in a heavy armor build. So really, really good. And of course, if you want, you can pull Nightblades out of stealth with it. So great skill. For our ultimate, kind of weird on a Magicka build, but I went with the Dawnbreaker of Smiting. I was looking for a cheap, easy ultimate on the front bar, and Warden doesn't really have anything in that regard. So I was thinking about a couple options, and I thought, Dawnbreaker, it does physical damage. It's not optimal, but honestly, it worked quite well because it allows us to do the nice bursty spikes with the deep fissure. And you put the two dots on your opponent, you cast the deep fissure, and when it goes off you also hit the Dawnbreaker, and then you channel the heavy attack. That's a lot of damage, and that's mainly how I killed my opponents. So it seems weird on a Magicka build, but it does work. So it's pretty cheap, so that's the main reason I went for it. Nice cheap ultimate. You can have quite a bit of ultimate gen on this build just due to the major heroism that you can get. And yeah, so your Dawnbreaker is up a lot, and I really like it. It made sense in the end. It really made sense on this build, so trust me. On the back bar, we have Ice Fortress. This is our armor buff. It gives us major resolve and major ward. And it also gives us minor protection, which is a big deal on a tanky build like this. Adding the 8% damage reduction really does a lot. So great skill, and of course you affect other people with it. So if you're playing in a group, um, your people will love you because you just make them tanky. So this just makes sense for a build like this. Um, I think without this skill, you would feel the damage a lot more. So yeah, 5k physical and spell and 8% damage reduction. That's a really big deal here. For the next skill, we have the Living Trellis. This is of course our main heal for the build. Um, you could just put it up and leave it, let it tick, and when people attack you, you will get really nice healing ticks out of it. But you can also spam it to get some burst heal out of it. I would recommend doing a nice mix between your other defensive buffs and a Living Trellis healing spam if you really need it. Um, because, yeah, it is actually a pretty good heal, especially on a tanky build like this. It really does a lot. And you can heal other people with it. So, again, playing into some group play options, really nice. The next skill we have is Shimmering Shield. This is our yeah, I would say this is a very pivotal skill on a build like this. You can absorb 3 projectiles that are coming in. When you absorb a projectile, you get the really nice and strong major heroism, which is so good just by itself. You just see your ultimate go up like crazy. So this is such a strong skill. It is pretty expensive, but when you absorb all 3 projectiles, you basically get almost all of the cost back. This thing basically, in the end, only costs you like 1k Magicka when you get the cost back through your absorptions. So really nice. And one thing I gotta say is when we when we cast this counts as a damage shield, and it will proc our health recovery, as you can see it does proc the health recovery. So that is one of the reasons I went for this whole shebang of sets and skills. This is a shield. You have 2 free shields from your sets. So you have a nice big shield uptime. I would recommend just keeping the Shimmering Shield up at all times. Cast it whenever possible. As soon as your absorption charges are gone, just recast it. Keep the major heroism going. Have the shield up. Get the health regen. It is really good, and it really brings the build together. The next skill we have is Corrupting Pollen. Um, Kind of weird choice. This is also a heal, but it's like super delayed. 6 second delay on a heal is really it's not good for healing yourself. It's also not good for healing others. Unless they're stationary, then it's good. When a group doesn't really move, you can just put it underneath them, and 6 seconds later they get a nice heal. And of course they can activate the harvest synergy, which gives them a nice big health boost. Um, so yeah, for healing, this is not really the right skill, even though it hits really hard. I healed myself for like 11 to 12k in PvP, which is crazy. But the main reason we use it is for the major defile, and this is a big deal because if you look at the size of this skill, that is a big area, and that is AoE major defile. So if you're fighting a lot of people, you know, you just put this down, defile them, and one thing I noticed, especially on builds that don't have a lot of damage, if you have a major defile, it feels like you're doing double the damage. Just because people can't out-heal your damage that easily. So that really ups the damage that we have on this build because we just deny 30% of their healing. And yeah, so that's really nice, and especially the really big field is a big deal. You just put it in a choke on a corner wherever you're fighting, and you get the nice healing debuff. And of course, after 6 seconds, it goes off and it heals you. And honestly, I got some nice heals out of it, even though I wasn't using it to heal myself. But sometimes you just take like a massive amount of burst damage, and then suddenly the corrupting pollen procs, it heals you, and boom, you're full health again. So when that happens, it's really nice. So yeah, great skill. It's not really expensive for what it does. Um, so yeah, I really like that. It does a lot for a build like this. The next skill is, of course, the Blue Betty gives us the Magicka back, which is roughly like 200 regen, um, if you let it play out. So that's 200 regen we don't see on the stat sheet. Really nice to have it, and of course we get our spell damage buff. And the Blue Betty, of course, removes negative effects, so you could basically spam that to remove some debuffs from you, or like a siege dot, a fire dot, whatever it is, spam it and you can cleanse yourself off of the effects, one effect at a time. One thing I gotta mention is when you use the Blue Betty and you resummon it, as you can see, it will heal you. So you could basically spam this as like a mini heal. It doesn't do a whole lot for you, but sometimes it helps, especially if you run out of Magicka. If you run out of Magicka, spamming the Betty can really save you because it doesn't cost you any Magicka. It is free, and if you're lucky and you get these 1500 healing crits, this can save your life. Trust me, it really can save your life. Um, Especially if you have your vines still up and you get some nice vine heals with this. This really saves your life. So just a little tip: if you don't have Magicka and you need the healing, spam the Betty. It removes the effects and it gives you a little bit of healing. So yeah. And for our ultimate on the back bar, Permafrost. Um, of course, that is a great ultimate because you have a giant AOE around you. You deal a lot of damage with this skill. It freezes people, and you get the major protection, which is the main reason I went for it. I don't really like using the skill offensively. It's it never really works that well for me. So um, defensively, it's definitely better, especially if you pair it with the minor protection. That's a lot of damage reduction on top of an already pretty bulky build. So I really like it. And of course, the the freezing on everyone that it touches for 3 times is pretty decent. If you have a lot of people on you and you just freeze them all, it gives you a little room to breathe, a couple seconds of regen time, a couple seconds of healing time. So pretty good. But I also used Meteor on this build. Ice Comet or Shooting Star, it doesn't matter. The Ice Comet does more damage. The Shooting Star gives you more ultimate back. Depends. Just choose the ultimate that suits your playstyle best. You could even go for like the really cheap healing ultimate that would also work well and probably be better for like group play. So whatever it is, feel free to just put it in. So yeah, that's the skills. Let's move on to the champion points. Um, in the retry, we have some changes. We don't use the regular setup that I have on most of my builds. This is a little bit different, but pretty easy to understand. 37 in Ironclad, 65 in Resistant. We have 37 in Hardy and Elemental Defender, 43 in Quick Recovery, and 51 in Bastion for the extra 19% on our damage shield. This, of course, affects the damage shields that you get from your sets. So they are not excluded. They are buffed by this passive. So put it in. It's really good. It helps, brings the shields up to a nice value. In the green tree, 37 Warlord, 19 Sprinter, 19 in Mooncalf, 56 in Arcanist, 51 in Healthy, of course, for the extra health recovery. 37 in Tumbling and 51 in Shadow War, just to get the nice, strong Ice Staff block on the back bar. This is your main defense. You can do a couple dodge rolls if you alternate between the blocking and the dodge rolls, but this is of course not a focus. And on the offensive side of things, we went 51 Elfborn, 56 Elemental Expert, 61 in Spell Erosion, 51 in Mastered Arms, and 51 in Thaumaturge for the extra damage over time. So yeah, that's the build, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did enjoy playing this build. I will show you some clips now. So yeah, have fun, enjoy the clips, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any new builds that I put out. And of course, follow me on Twitch. I'm streaming every day, and I would like to see you there. I would like to talk to you. Do me the favor, go over there, follow right now, and I will see you in a live stream, maybe. So yeah, have a great day, everyone. I will see you in the next video. Bye. Yeah, where are you going, buddy? Where are you going? Take it easy. Is he gonna jump down? No. Just doing this. I'm gonna get you, dude. I love that. I love just jumping over someone's head. I love that so much, dude. Yo, nice to see you again. Oh, come on, baby, come. Let's play. Let's play, baby. You're my little puppet here. Oh. I like this fight. I like this fight. Oh. Let me just keep the thing up. Are you running away, buddy? What's going on? run away. I'm your friend. I'm your friend. We're playing here. Come on. Man, he's working. He's working. Let me just cleanse that real quick. Oh, he's gonna kill me now. Oh, he's falling out of the tower. Dude, I can't put my fucking thing down. I don't get this. Get wrecked! In Darkness says he saw me flying. He reported me for using cheat engine because I was flying. Guys? Oh no! Run, buddy, run! 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 You can do it! Dude, he has some dodge rolls. I couldn't even make it. You see that? Oh, dude, can I? Dude, this fucker. You need to stop that. Dude, you need to fucking stop that. Like, right fucking now. Oh, dude, the CCs, man! How many CCs do I have to take? Man, he just fucking walked out of my shitty fucking Dawnbreaker. I hate that. I fucking hate that shit. Man, I have no fucking resources left. I'm just gonna spam my thing. Dude, can I get the fucking Zahn off of me? I can't. I can't fucking do anything. It's just... Oh my goodness. Come on, let me jump over this thing, dude. Ugh. Man, I wish I could just fucking move for a couple seconds. Just move for a couple seconds. Fucking... Didn't have my thing up. Did this Lobby? I wish I could hit him. Please die. Man, I gotta burst him. I gotta burst him. He's not gonna die otherwise. Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Yeah, I missed this guy. Man, what an annoying fight. The other guy left. GG. G fucking G.